April, and changes to the way benefits, tax credits and public service pensions are calculated will also mean less money in people's pockets. Unwelcome news in a town where benefit reliance is high. Hastings is best known for its links to the Battle of 1066, but these days its fight is against poverty. It's one of the country's most deprived places, and charities like this one helps those on benefits to find work.
It's going to be a very difficult few years if benefits are frozen, as we believe they're going to be, or they're not going to increase as much as they have done in the past. For a lot of people, that's going to mean that how they do live now, they may well not be able to continue at the level that they are doing.
Next to wash up this year is the first wave of public sector job cuts, and a pay freeze kicks in April. That really matters in Hastings because a whopping 43% of the working population is employed in the public sector here, and the local authority is facing cuts of more than 30% over the next 2 years, although it isn't yet sure where job cuts will fall. The coalition says the private sector can take up the slack. This recruitment consultant agrees, so long as people don't mind taking a pay cut.
Within the private sector, I think a lot of the jobs will be able to accommodate a lot of the public people coming through, public sector people coming through, but some of the public sector people are going to have to take a career change, or they're going to have to take a salary cut.
Also rolling in are tax reforms. VAT's already gone up and national insurance rises in April. But there's good news for low earners who'll see the threshold at which they start paying tax increase, and corporation tax will fall this year too. That's going down well with retailers in Hastings Old Town, but could 2011 take a slice out of shoppers' spending power?
You've got the increase in the personal thresholds, and I think that will benefit somewhere like Hastings because there's a lot of people on below average earnings, so it might mean that they've got a few more pounds in their pockets. On the negative side, you've got the VAT increase, and I think that is going to impact particularly retail spend locally.
So there'll be some winners among the losers in this battle of 2011. They're used to that here. After all, the man who had that old castle built conquered England.
Well, Digby Jones listening to all of that. The British Chamber of Commerce, their last quarterly economic survey said that growth had slowed in the fourth quarter of 2010. Ed Miliband is saying that the pace of cuts is jeopardising the recovery. Does that validate his point?
No, I don't think he's right. I think the recovery is fragile. And I think this year is going to witness this perfect storm of tax rise, public sector cut, and the inflation interest rate equation. Now, there are some big decisions to be made about interest rates. Do we tolerate inflation? Because we know that usually, conventionally, you put up your interest rates to choke off inflation, but the inflation is coming from commodity prices, from iron ore to oil. It's not coming from the usual thing, which is shop prices and wages. So if you go and put up interest rates, you stifle your housing market, you stop your spending, and therefore you have a real impact. Now, that is a far greater thing, actually, than public sector cuts. What that lady said in the piece, which I thought was very interesting, not your reporter, but one of the people she interviewed, was even in Hastings, which is a challenged, economically challenged part of South East England, they were saying the growth in the private sector will mop up quite a lot of the public sector problem, but they'll have to take a pay cut and they'll have to retrain. My words, but that's what she was intimating. The issue is fundamental change. Now, if you can bring the change through, then the growth in the economy, especially export-driven, manufacturers at the moment are exporting big time and well.